every human being has a point B, or they had a point B. They either have one, or they had one, or they wish they had one. This is what we're doing. We are helping people get there, right there. That's what it's all about, is that diagram right there. Help somebody find their point B, understand where they're at, point A, and what do you do to get from point A to point B? To me, this is a great conversation with anyone, anywhere. If you're at a picnic or a family reunion or a neighborhood gathering, I think it is fantastic conversation to ask, hey, where are you headed? And they're like, oh, what do you mean? Like, what are you working on? That question right there of where are you going? What are you working on? Opens up such a beautiful conversation with people, because that's not the normal conversation. Normally, the conversation is about kids and what you did last weekend. It's about a bunch of things that most people talk about. But when you go to pose the question, what are you working on? Where are you heading? And the conversation gets to this point, what happens is they actually have to check in with themselves and think about that. And it makes you different. You now are engaging in the biggest part of this person's life. Everybody wonders where they're heading. Everybody's evaluating their direction. What is their star that they're working towards? And it's amazing to find out, and I totally get it, that you're going to find that many people don't know where they're going. They're just caught up into a bunch of action. It's as though this point right here doesn't even exist, because they've tried so many times to get there and it just doesn't happen. And so they're just caught into a bunch of action without any star out in front of them. And so here you come along, and you're somebody who actually talks about it. You're actually interested in it. And the reason why this is not talked about, or it's not something that people are in conversation about because of the interest, is because they don't know how to do it. Here we are, all these human beings, all living next to each other, associating with each other. And this is like the biggest conversation of like, okay, where are you at? Where are you going? What are you doing to get there? You would think that people would help each other with this. And yes, it kind of comes out in conversation, but most people don't understand the action part. They don't know how to get there. They don't even know how to get there themselves, how they're supposed to help somebody else out. So that's what makes you unique and different. That what makes you stand out, is because you are a student of the star. What is it for them? What is it for the other person? How do you get there? How do you take what you are, where you are, what you have, and actually get to another level? Because if we really put this in perspective, it's like this right here, they do have a star already. Everybody's got something, right? They've got something that they've achieved, accomplished. They've gotten to a particular point in their life, but now they see that there is potential and they want to get there, but they just don't know how. This is the base of all psychology. This is the base of all schooling. This is the base of all education. Every technical school, every discussion that happens between any type of coach and team member is, okay, this is where you're at. Okay, this is where you want to go. How are you going to get there? It's the base of everything about this life. And so what I think is amazing is that you are engaging in this conversation, and you're part of this by studying this. I'm serious. when I meet people and we get to the root of the frustration, we get to the root of the discouragement, the disappointment, is they don't know what to do to get where they want to be. They don't know what to do because their psychology has them locked up. Their psychology has them stuck. Their beliefs, their paradigms, their patterns, their subconscious programming has them locked up. And people are asking inside themselves, how do I do this? And you probably say the same thing. I bet you do, because I say it to myself. It's like, okay, I want to get here. How do I do that? How do I do that? And here's the beautiful part. The beautiful part is somebody else has already made it. Somebody else has either already made it or somebody else has an idea of how to take the action. And so there are other people to talk to figure out how to get here. And that means this is a coach, this is a guide, this is a mentor, this is somebody who's a teacher, this is a neighbor, a friend that you can talk to be able to get there. So, for example, I know this is a really simple example, but we're taking our kids on a camping trip this weekend. And I was trying to figure out where we're going to go. And my neighbor, I was talking to my neighbor, and he's a big time camper too. And I said, where are you going next on your next camp out? And he told me where he was going. And I was like, what? That's a great idea. That's a brand new idea. So anyway, they went camping this last weekend to this particular spot that they picked out. And I was asking them, like, why are you guys going there? And they started to explain why they were going there. And I was like, okay, when you go there, you got to tell me how it turns out. So yesterday I jumped on the phone because they got back from their camping trip, because that's where I want to go to. And so I questioned him. I said, okay, how was the trip? How was the drive? How is the town? How is the activity? And first off, he goes, okay, well, first off, when you get off this exit, you're not going to make it because there's a small tunnel you got to go through and your trailer's not going to fit. So you got to go to this next exit so you avoid the tunnel. And then he's telling me what restaurants are the best restaurants to eat at. He's also telling me how the activity worked. And he's giving me all this instruction ahead of time, which greatly increased my ability to be able to have a great weekend because somebody's already been there. And he gave me the instructions of what to do. So this is what I love about life, is that if we are trying to get somewhere, we ask people who already are there or who are on the way there, right? And so what's beautiful about this is you have a lot of experience, life experience, way more valuable experience than you're going to give yourself credit for. But you have a lot of life experience that has taught you a lot of things, a lot of wisdom. And so there is action that you've gone through that has gotten to you to a particular point. All of that action is wisdom to somebody else. Just like my neighbor going to this particular camp place, and everything he learned now became wisdom, very valuable to me in how to get to this place and how to enjoy those activities. And so I just love this process. But here's the cool part, is that you are being intentional. You're playing this role. You're playing the role of helping people identify the actions to take and how to get to their point B. Because you have a particular topic or a particular conversation you feel inspired to share with people. And because you feel inspired and feel passionate about this topic that you would like to share with other people, it's because you have figured out how to get to point B. What are the steps? What are not the steps? What are the steps and what are not the steps to be able to make it? And what do we call this whole process? Coaching, helping, teaching, guiding, all of the above. You are making other people's lives better. If you could hold that in your mind, that when you wake up in the morning, you say to yourself, I'm going to make someone's life better today. If you could hold that in there, you will find yourself in such a huge amount of gratitude. Like, how cool is that position that you get to help people on their journey of life? It's beautiful. And yes, you are on your own journey and you're learning how to get to your point B, just like I'm learning how to get to my point B. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's in the same boat. Me, you, them, everybody. We're all at a point A. We want to get to our next point B, and we're trying to figure out the actions. So we talk to people, we learn from people, we hire people, we learn all of these components, and then we take action to get to our point B. I just love this process. It's beautiful because when I started realizing I could pick a point B and I could get to point B, it's like, wait a minute, I'm going to pick another point B. What's my next one? And then I pick the next one, and then I do the process to get to point B. It's just super cool. And when you start moving from point A to point B and start realizing, wow, this is doable. This is doable. You get pretty excited about helping other people get to their point B. So back to the beginning of this discussion is this. Well, it's not really a discussion. I'm just sitting here, I'm sharing with you. Back to this share is that this is what you're doing. And if you dare to venture into the discussion to ask the person, where are you headed? What are you working on? And you can say to them, I love working on goals. What's yours? You're going to find out if they have a goal. You're going to find out if they're frustrated about goals. You're going to find out if they gave up on goals. You're going to find out if they just started a goal. But you're going to find out how they're doing as a human being. Every human being has a point B, or they had a point B. They either have one or they had one, or they wish they had one. And if they dares tell you, oh, I don't believe in goals, what does that tell you? It tells you they had a goal that didn't work out, and now they're chapped about it. They're burnt out about it. They're frustrated about it, and they haven't overcome that yet. Every human being has inside of them the spirit of progress. Every human being is designed to make progress. And when they're not making progress, they yearn for it. And sometimes when they yearn for it and they don't know what to do, they bury it. But it's in them. Even teenagers. I know it doesn't seem like they do, but even teenagers have a point B. Even the little people, the 9, 10, 11-year-olds, there's something that they wish they could do, experience, or have, or learn. And they're just wishing for it. Everybody's got this going on. So what that tells you is you have the opportunity to talk to anyone about this. This point B is universal across the world. Across the world, no matter what country you're in, no matter what city it is, there's a point B that's inside their mind. And they're wishing they knew how to get there. And you can help them.